Welcome to the Roaring Twenties, a period of economic prosperity and cultural boom in America. From new technology to advances in art, music, and media, and also conflicts between race, religion, and immigration. The 20s was filled with more conflict than celebration sometimes, but nevertheless still raging. So sit back as we take a trip through the 20s. In 1920, after World War I, America had turned from the world and started isolationism, and denounced foreign ideas and un-American lifestyles. An example of this was the Red Scares of 1919 to 1920, in which raids were implemented to arrest suspected communists. The Red Scares cut back free speech for a period of time, since many people wanted to eliminate any communists and their ideas. Another group that made its peak in the 20s were the Ku Klux Klan. They were anti-foreign, anti-black, anti-Catholic, anti-Jewish, and anti-communist. Mostly in the South, the KKK implemented the same tactics of lynching and intimidation. For the first time, more Americans lived in cities than on farms, and in 1920 to 1921, many European or new immigrants from southeastern Europe regions made their way to the U.S. As a result, Congress made the Emergency Quota Act, which was a quota set at 3% of the people of their nationality that lived in the U.S. in 1910, and the Immigration Act of 1924, which cut the quota to 2% and pushed back the origins to 1890. This displayed the message of new immigrants out and old immigrants in. It even slammed the door on Japanese immigrants. By 1931, the immigration tide had been cut and more people left the U.S. than came. The 1920s also brought about the new woman. Millions of women could now vote thanks to the 19th Amendment. Many women worked in white-collar jobs and could now participate in the blooming society. The most familiar symbol was known as the flapper, which was a young woman who wore short skirts, smoked, and danced to Charleston. The older generations were shocked and viewed their style as inappropriate. Nevertheless, women still fought for the birth control movement, and prohibition was mainly supported by women and the Women's Christian Temperance Union. Prohibition led to the rise of people who competed to sell alcohol illegally. The gang wars of Chicago were huge, and many people died. Gangsters were rarely convicted because they created false alibis. The most notorious was Al Capone, known for his St. Valentine's Massacre. Gangs will move into other activities like prostitution, gambling, and narcotics, and by 1930 their profit will be $12 to $18 billion. Differences between disillusionment versus idealism and fundamentalist Christianity versus scientific modernism also plagued the 1920s. After World War I, intellectuals and veterans believed society was lacking in idealism and vision, and were obsessed with materialism than moral values. Fundamentalist Christians stressed Bible interpretation and opposed scientific teachings that put doubt on the Bible. Modernists tried to combine religion to teachings of modern science. The Scopes monkey trial is an example of where Tom T. Scopes, a high school Tennessee teacher, was charged with teaching evolution. The trial proved to be inconclusive, but painted the difference between new and old. Society's economic prosperity and big business led to the increase of technology. Andrew Mellon favored the expansion of capital investment. Henry Ford perfected the assembly line production, producing automobiles. Automobiles created a sense of freedom and luxury. Cars like the Ford Model T became cheap and easy to own. Cars became a necessity and took over as king of transportation. New roads for construction, the gas industry grew, and American standard of living grew as well. Planes took off, and the first transcontinental airmail route was made from New York to San Francisco. Charles Lindbergh became the first to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. As cars brought America outside, the development of radios brought them back in. Advertisement became popular as they used persuasion, ploy, seduction, and sex appeal to sell merchandise. The Great Migration of blacks from the south to northern cities increased tensions between race, but led to the Harlem Renaissance movement, or Jazz period. With influences by W.C. Harding, Jelly Roll Morton, and Joseph King Oliver, Black pride set the pavement for leaders like Langston Hughes and Marcus Garvey. Movies were making strides with The Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith and the first movie with sound, The Jazz Singer. Hollywood became the spot for movie production because of its climate and landscape. Many writers also came forward, like H.L. Mencken, American Mercury, F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby, Theodore Dreiser, The American Tragedy, Ernest Hemingway, A Farewell to Arms, Zora Neale Hurston, Their Eyes Are Watching God, and poets like Ezra Pound and T.S. Eliot. Architecture by Frank Lloyd Wright Also,
created using Powtoon.